Have you ever heard of an ice cream that screams? Well, get ready to scream with laughter because today we're diving into the story of Icy the ice cream who lets out a mighty roar whenever he gets his sweet to tops. It all starts at the flavor factory where Icy is just chilling in his freezer home. Icy loves life in the freezer. He likes being cool, especially when he's covered in yummy toppings like sprinkles, chocolate sauce, and juicy cherries. Icy just can't resist the urge to scream yippee with joy. The other ice creams think it's pretty funny, but it does make their freezers vibrate so much that sometimes their flavors melt. One day, Murphy's, the kind old freezer who takes care of all the ice creams, tells Icy he needs to keep his excitement under control. Otherwise, he might accidentally melt himself. But how can one little ice cream be expected to contain his joy when he is topped with such deliciousness? Well, the answer comes from an unlikely source, the delivery truck. Icy watches as the truck makes its way through town, bringing joy to everyone with its playful honk. An idea pops into his sprinkles, quite literally. Why not add a musical element to his toppings routine? With this new plan in place, Icy waits patiently for his first customer of the day. A girl named Lily walks up to the freezer, looks at Icy, and asks, "Can I put something on your ice cream?" "Sure," says Icy, and with a wink, Lily adds a giant marshmallow to the top of his cone. No sooner than she steps away, Icy can't contain himself. He lets out a huge woohoo and starts dancing down the street, leaving a trail of melting ice cream in his wake. Murphy sees what's happening and quickly puts Icy back in his freezer. "I told you," he says, shaking his head, "you melt yourself into a puddle." Icy feels awful. He doesn't want to upset Murphy's or all the kids waiting for their ice creams. Determined to find a solution, he takes a walk outside to clear his mind. As he looks around town, Icy notices a group of kids playing instruments in a band. They're loud and having a great time. An idea hits him like a bolt of lightning. Maybe he could channel his energy into music instead of screaming. So Icy heads back to the freezer, grabs a drum, and starts practicing. Each time Emma Freeze rings the bell for a customer, Icy tries his hardest to stay silent, but the second that first scoop hits his tongue, he can't help himself. "Ah, I scream!" He bangs on the drum so hard that the entire freezer starts to shake. Murphy isn't happy, but before he can say anything, another kid, this time a boy named Alex, walks up to the freezer and asks, "What flavor are you?" "I'm Icy the ice cream," replies Icy, "and my flavor is scream." Alex looks confused. "Why do you scream when you get toppings?" Icy explains that he wants to express his joy, but he also doesn't want to upset anyone. Alex has an idea. He asks if he can add something to Icy's ice cream, and without waiting for an answer, he places a tiny umbrella on top of Icy's cone. Icy closes his eyes and takes a deep breath. When the first scoop hits his taste buds, instead of screaming, he opens his eyes and looks at the umbrella. Then he looks at Alex and gives him a thumbs up. Icy might have found a way to enjoy his toppings without letting out a big, bad scream. Just then, a third customer arrives. It's Lily again. She asks, "Did you have fun yesterday?" "Oh, yeah," says Icy. "It was super cool." Lily smiles and adds a sprinkle on top of his cone. Icy feels like he's on cloud 9. He really enjoys the sprinkle, but he also knows he can't let out a big scream. So as the music starts playing in his head, Icy taps out a beat on the drum. This time, when Murphy rings the bell, Icy is ready. He keeps tapping out the beat until the next customer arrives. It's Alex again, and he looks very excited. "That was awesome," he says to Icy. "You didn't scream once." Icy smiles. He feels much better now that he has found a way to enjoy his toppings and make music at the same time. But his relief is short-lived. Murphy rings the bell again, signaling another customer. Icy turns to the drum, but this time when the first scoop hits his tongue, he can't help himself. He lets out a giant eek and throws his hands in the air. All the ice creams in the freezer start melting at the sound. Just then, Icy's best friend, Rocky the Rocket Popsicle, rushes over. "What happened?" he asks, seeing all the melted ice cream. Icy hangs his head. "I tried my best, but I just can't stop myself from screaming when I eat something yummy." Rocky puts a hand on Icy's shoulder. "Don't worry, buddy," he says. "We'll figure something out." Rocky takes a moment to think. Then he asks, "Hey, remember that band we saw earlier? Maybe they could help." Icy looks confused. How would a bunch of kids playing instruments help? Rocky explains that maybe the band could play soft music while Icy eats his toppings. That way, he wouldn't feel the need to scream. Together, they run off to find the band. After explaining their problem, the kids agree to help. They line up their instruments and start playing a beautiful, calming tune. Icy feels much better now that there's soft music playing. He takes a deep breath, closes his eyes, and imagines he's floating through the clouds. When the first scoop hits his tongue, he can't help himself. He lets out a small giggle, but it's only a squeak compared to his usual scream. Marfreeze, Lily, Alex, and all the other ice creams erupt into cheers. Icy might actually be able to serve all the kids without melting himself into a puddle. As the day goes on, Icy enjoys every topping he gets, laughing instead of screaming. He's so happy that he can make everyone smile without causing any meltdowns. At the end of the day, as the sun sets over the town, Icy looks at all the kids playing together. He might not be able to stop screaming when he gets a topping, but he doesn't need to. He's made new friends and learned that it's okay to be himself, even if he is a little loud. And that, my friends, is the tale of Icy the ice cream who screamed instead of screamed. What would you do if you were Icy? How would you handle getting all those toppings without letting out a big, bad scream? Share your thoughts below. And hey, if you're still hungry for more fun, don't go anywhere. We've got more silly tales to tell. Click on this video to the right for another crazy food adventure, or click on this video to the left for a classic tale. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more laughter and adventures. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.